As I've gone throughout my 20s particularly, I think a realisation that I've come to is that it just seems that regardless of what you do, good or bad, you will inevitably get criticised by someone or another. It will always happen at some point, and from my experience, it just seems to be unavoidable. It's interesting. I remember a few years ago kind of doing bar work, and one of the questions I got asked was like, oh, why do you work so many jobs? You're like, what's the incentive? Why do you do it? Because I guess on the grand scheme of things, it's not seen as a normal thing. It's like if you were to start up your own business, it's not normal. It's not what 99% of other people do. But yet you've done it because you want to pursue your own goals, your own ambitions. And it's interesting, I think some people will ask out of genuine curiosity, but then you'll always inevitably come across people where they'll question it as if it's like abnormal, as if like, oh, why are you doing that? That's not what everybody else does. They'll take it as a negative, or they'll perceive it in such a negative way that they'll then kind of portray that to other people as if there's something wrong with you, and it's simply not the case. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that, ultimately, you have to do what's right for you, and you'll get to a point where you'll ask yourself the question, actually, do I really care what other people think? Like when I go home at night and these people are not around to judge me, do I really care? Do I want these people to dictate how I'm living my life? Of course you don't, and nobody does. Previous video, but I think the question I always ask myself, particularly when I come across instances like this, is 50 years from now, when I'm an old person and I don't have the physical capabilities to do what I can do now, do I want to be in a position where I'm almost kind of kicking myself in the side because I let people who, quite frankly, I don't even know personally and I don't have any emotional attachment to, dictate the way I live my life? I would never want to be in that position. And as you'll see by the title of this video, I've titled it, you will get judged regardless of what you do. And because of that, my message would be actually just do what you genuinely feel passionate about and that you genuinely feel is the right course of action for you, that will make you feel content, that will make you feel fulfilled, that will challenge you, that will force you to grow and develop as a person, and also ultimately become the person you want to be, but most importantly, living the life that you genuinely want to live. That's the important part in all of this format or long drawn out video, but I just think it's a really important point to highlight because, particularly when it comes to mental health, I think a lot of people are living lives in a way that isn't conducive to what they want to do. They're just living their lives based on what they think, or they're living their lives based on how they think they should, because they just want to meet other people's expectations or fulfill other people's idea of what's the norm. But what does that even mean? Like, if you ask yourself the question, being normal, well, that's not individual. Normal is just relative to what everybody else does. And quite frankly, if you're living your life in a way that isn't on your own terms, then inevitably you will be unhappy because you're not living your life in a way that fulfills your own needs, your own ambitions, your own sense of curiosity in terms of what you want to look into, what you want to do to help you grow as a person. And ultimately that journey is subjective to you. What will help me succeed might be completely counterintuitive to somebody else. I'll give you a perfect example. Historically, I was quite introverted. I lacked confidence because of things that had happened in the past. Now, my way of getting over that was to do additional bar work, was to do, kind of the care work, for example, where I was forcing myself to get out there, to meet new people, to be in social situations that for an introvert would seem quite uncomfortable. But you know what? Me doing that helped me grow. I took action based off of what I felt was the best thing to do to meet my needs. And if that meant working a few extra jobs, absolutely fine. It helped me grow as a person. But I did that based off of my own desire, not based on what other people thought was normal. And that's kind of a perfect example there of how doing what is right for you and doing what you feel is best can help you grow and develop as a person and become a more well-rounded individual. And that's what makes life fulfilling.